Is All Elite Wrestling worth more than $2 billion? Well, according to one financial analyst, it could be. Details on that, plus Ace Steel seemingly has broke his silence after his release from AEW earlier on this week. Santana and Ortiz are no more as a tag team in All Elite Wrestling, with Santana breaking the news last night on AEW Rampage. However, the big story now is Santana and Ortiz is back and forth on social media, kind of playing into the fact that maybe the two aren't getting on and have real life heat. Details on that, plus Finn Balor has opened up on the possibility of CM Punk making a WWE return. Have we seen a hint about Edge's WWE future last night in the opening credits of SmackDown, plus an update on Gable Steveson's WWE future? Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling, and this is a fascinating story to start off with. The valuation of All Elite Wrestling. How much is AEW worth? Well, this is absolutely fascinating because AEW was recently valued at more than $2 billion. Yes, billion with a B. And while there is warranted skepticism over that figure, the analyst believes, in fact, it could be even higher than that. Mike Ozian, the assistant managing editor of Forbes Media and co-host / managing editor of Forbes Sports Money, recently did a study on AEW business as of late, and he valued the company at more than $2 billion. Now, it was noted by Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that this figure sounds very high, and others are pretty skeptical as well. But Ozanian might not be too far off. Now, it was noted before how WWE stock recently dropped due to concerns with UFC competitor PFL, the Professional Fighters League, receiving a $100 million investment from SRJ Sports Investments, a company launched by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. It was recently revealed that PFL was in talks to buy Bellator, the MMA promotion, which was valued at as much as $500 million. Based on that figure, it could be assumed that AEW is worth double. Quote, for all those skeptical of the $1 billion number for AEW, if Bellator's sale is talking around $500 million, there is no way AEW as a franchise isn't far more than twice as valuable, Meltzer tweeted, referring to the long-rumored $1 billion number for AEW. The Fight Oracle account then responded, quote, Dave, $1 billion valuation for AEW isn't even close. It's a lot more. Valuations are more art than science, but Khans don't need investment, so the valuation doesn't really matter. They'll self-fund, aka bootstrap, and won't be diluted upon exit / liquidity event. Ozanian then responded to that tweet and said his recent $2 billion valuation for AEW is likely minimum. Meltzer addressed the $2 billion valuation and wrote, quote, that figure sounds very high to me. If you figure revenues at 12.5% of WWE and WWE's worth at $9 billion, you can get to a $1 billion valuation, but there is more to valuation than just revenue. I think a lot of this is the belief that AEW is getting a huge increase in rights fees on its next deal, which is where that worth comes from. But I don't count on anything until the deal is finalized. I wouldn't assume anything on that deal until it's completed, with the rapidly changing nature of the television industry today. Now, AEW President, CEO, General Manager, and Head of Creative Tony Khan, who said he's not interested in taking the company public at this time, recently spoke with The Hollywood Reporter's George Zaslai and mentioned how he has received billion-dollar offers for AEW. Khan was asked if he has any set target for when he wants AEW to turn profitable, or if he had anything else to say on the matter. Quote, I typically talk about how I reinvest a lot of money, Khan responded. I've reinvested a lot of money we gross in the business. Last year we grossed over $100 million. This year will gross far more than $100 million. We'll see where it ends up, but last year was $100 million. This year it's going to be a lot more with video game revenue, Wembley revenue, and the addition of the TNT show we launched in June, Collision. So our grosses will be far higher this year, and I've reinvested much of that money we've grossed back into the business. I'm still working off the original investment into the business, but we've not had to put in more. And then we are reinvesting money to grow it to an international business. We've launched the video game, expanded the TV calendar, calendar, expanded the pay-per-view calendar, and the merchandising. He continued by saying, "We have a valuation of, well, people have approached me with billion-dollar offers, so the business has grown. I'm not turning over huge cash profits, but as we approach the new media rights renewal, that is really the key, not only to weekly profitability and cash flow, but also another large multiplier on top of the business valuation." So my question to you is, guys, what do you think? What do you think AEW is worth? Is it worth $1 billion? Is it worth $2 billion? Is it worth far less? Is it worth nothing? Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comments section below. Our big story this week, of course, after the departure of CM Punk was the departure of Ace Steel, and he has since reacted and broken his silence for the first time. Last Saturday, September 2nd, AEW announced that it had terminated the contracts of CM Punk with cause. Punk's termination came after the results of an investigation into the backstage incident at AEW All In at London's Wembley Stadium. Now, obviously, again, the question then became, what happened about Ace Steel? Well, following Punk's termination, Ace Steel was also released from his AEW contract on Thursday, September 7. Steele was initially released from the company in the fallout of the backstage incident at AEW All Out last year, but was rehired ahead of Punk's return on the debut episode of Collision back in June. Steele had been working as a producer for Collision remotely following Punk's return, as Tony Khan had decided he wouldn't be allowed backstage at the shows. That decision initially actually caused a delay in Punk's return being announced, as he wasn't happy about Steele only working remotely and not actually being backstage. Taking to Instagram, Ace Steel has now broken his silence after his release from the company, and he has seemingly made reference to the incident that led to his release. He quoted a post which you can see on the screen right now. He said, quote, the quote actually said, mishandling people, then avoiding communication is not protecting your peace. It's avoiding accountability. Now, Ace Steel quoted this and said, "Ain't that the effing truth, LOL." Steel added this post, a story post, to his Collision highlights section, which does seem to imply it's related to that situation. According to PW Insider, previously there had been talk of AEW opening a facility in Florida specifically for Steel to train some talents, but obviously that won't be happening now that he's no longer with the company. What are your thoughts on Ace Steel's reaction to his firing? Now, this is a really interesting story as well that's kind of breaking today on social media, and in regards to the split of the Proud and Powerful tag team and the rumored backstage heat between Mike Santana and Ortiz. AEW star Mike Santana made his return to the company after missing over a year of action due to an injury suffered at last year's Blood and Guts match on Dynamite. Santana and Ortiz returned on the August 23rd episode of Dynamite as the final two members of the Blackpool Combat Club's team for Stadium Stampede at All In at London's Wembley Stadium. Santana and Ortiz's return came after a lot of rumours about issues between the two, with Proud and Powerful not having teamed in a regular tag team match since February of 2022. Now it seems as if the pair is officially over, as AEW aired a vignette for Mike Santana on last night's episode of Rampage, where he said he has chosen to take a new road on his own. He said, quote, "There comes a time in everyone's life where you reach a fork in the road. When you get there, there's decisions that need to be made in order to proceed in the right direction. Some roads are easy and lead to mediocrity and comfortability. Some roads come with new challenges and force you to grow. If there's one thing I've learned through this process, is that you can't depend on anyone to have the same passion or drive, or how to even have your back the same way that you would. With that being said, the world has been asking all these questions. Now the world is about to get all the answers. The road I've chosen to take is one that must be taken on my own. No crutch, no crew. All I've done my entire life is bet on myself. I'll tell you this, I'm not here to be another guy in the game. I'm here to be the game. I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off, but if you ask me if I give a damn, I ain't here to make friends. I'm here to make money. If you ain't down, you're going to get run down. The nastiest is yet to come." Now, people thought, okay, this means that he's going to be, I guess, a solo star moving forward, but it's really the response from his former tag team partner, now Ortiz, on social media, and the response from Santana that's got a lot of people talking. Let's go to Ortiz's response first. He said, you can see it on the screen right now, "What a way to find out years of having your back meant nothing. Good luck without your crutch. Just remember it helped you walk for the last 14 plus years. Hope your legs are good. Thank you for being honest for once, but you can't say it to my face. You know you still can, right?" Now, Santana since responded to this by saying, "Wow, first thing you said to me in 14 months. No text, no call. No, I hope your recovery has gone well, but of course paint me to be the bad guy like you've always done. Guess you forgot about our last conversation about this. Either way, I'm happy. I hope and pray the same for you." The question is this real? Is this a work? Is this a shoot? Let me know your thoughts, your predictions, your reactions to all of this in the comments section below. Now, CM Punk, people still talking about CM Punk, particularly a possible return to WWE. Well, Finn Balor's been asked if he'd be happy to see CM Punk return to WWE. On September 2nd, AEW and Tony Khan announced they had terminated the contracts of CM Punk with cause. Punk's termination came following the investigation into the backstage incident at AEW All In at London's Wembley Stadium. Of course, following Punk's termination, fans have speculated about whether or not Punk would return to WWE. Speaking on the Ring of Wrestling show, Finn Balor was asked about a potential match with CM Punk in WWE if Punk did end up returning to the company. Balor responded by saying, quote, "I'd be interested in wrestling a broomstick if someone is going to pay me money. Money talks." Of course, Balor is currently one half of the Undisputed Tag Team Champions in WWE alongside Damian Priest of the Judgment Day. So, what do you think? Could you see Finn Balor versus CM Punk, or is this Finn Balor's smart way of saying, I don't really care, it's just about money? Now, speaking of people's future in WWE, one person that we don't know their future right now is the Rated R superstar and WWE Hall of Famer Edge. He took part in the final match of his WWE contract last month when he faced off against Sheamus in the main event of SmackDown in his home country and hometown of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Following the match, Edge claimed that his WWE contract is set to expire at the end of this month, that being September, which led to speculation about his future in the company. It was reported that some in WWE believe that Edge is AEW bound after they didn't agree on terms for an extension. But Edge took to Twitter himself to say that he still has a WWE contract extension actually sitting in his inbox and he doesn't know right now what he wants to do. Well, on last night's episode of SmackDown, WWE created and aired a new intro video for the show featuring some of SmackDown's top stars. Interestingly, WWE made sure to add Edge into the intro despite the reports and speculation that his time in the company could be over. So many people have been speculating, is this a sign that Edge is staying? Although some people are saying it was basically the old intro just with a few new clips added in. So, do you think there's anything in it, or do you think Edge still could be going to AEW, or do you think he hasn't made his mind up yet? Let me know your thoughts about that. Finally, this is absolutely fascinating too. So there was a story yesterday in the Wrestling Observer newsletter regarding Gable Steveson, with Dave Meltzer saying that Gable Steveson had been removed from the WWE NXT roster, which is quite strange considering last night he wrestled at an NXT live event. Yes, Gable Steveson wrestled for NXT. It was reported yesterday that Olympic gold medalist and WWE superstar Gable Steveson had been removed from the roster. Steveson made his in-ring debut for the company back at the NXT Great American Bash event, where he faced off against Baron Corbin in a match that went to a double countout. After the show, Gable's future had been in question, with it being reported recently that he had been removed from the WWE roster to return to amateur wrestling. However, it seems as though Gable is still with the NXT roster, as he was in action just last night at an NXT live event in Sebring, Florida. He defeated Dante Chen at the show. So, what do you think this means for Gable Steveson? What do you think it means about the report in general? Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comments section below. But there you go, guys. It's the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak for you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.